I hope you're not scared of heights. That's the Hartley Valley where I live, here in New South Wales, Australia. I've come up here to talk to you a little bit about perspective and getting a bird's eye view, so to speak. Annie, we're gonna do some work on ourselves. Let's just look at next year. Let's think ahead, because the choices we're making now for the next coming year will make a huge difference. Annie, what is the vision for the life you want? 5 years ago, in 2018, I was suicidal. I spent the days before Christmas trying not to drive over a cliff. And as you can see where I live, cliffs are plentiful. I set the goal for myself, the very vague and slightly unattainable goal of being happy. And I did it. But mostly because of things completely out of my control. Last year, my word for the year was momentum. And my vision board in my Clever Fox journal looked a little something like this. So you can see I've written the word momentum. I have be happy and a little map, and I've got a sweater here which represents going to Iceland and getting an Iceland sweater. And it says, you're worth more than second thoughts and maybes. Ending of this past year, I thought, I want to build on it. I have. It works. It works. So as I'm reassessing this year, I'm thinking, yes, this works. This is good. So I've got a Clever Fox this year. I have gotten their brand new updated A4 hourly. I am very excited. It's back in my rose gold, which I had my very first Clever Fox was in rose gold. And last year I thought I have to get a different color, and I'm like, I don't want a different color. I like this color. I like it. I'm not really a gold person. I'm not really a pink person, but I don't know. I just like it it just makes me feel calm and happy. And what's nice about this one is I've got lots of room to write, more than I need, really. And what I've also got here is a way of thinking about the future. I overestimate how much can be done in a year and underestimate how much can be done in 5 years. When I look back to 5 years ago at this point, I would never have come up to this cliff and sat here because I was suicidal and I wouldn't trust myself not to throw myself over the edge. Which is something I thought of daily. And here I am talking to you, perfectly happy, sitting on the edge of a mountain, feeling completely safe, and not at all like I want to go over the edge, feeling like everything is good. I'm happy. I want more from life, but I'm happy for it to arrive in its time. I'm contented. And talking like a character in a Jane Austen novel. I think I've been watching way too much Bridgerton. Still got those 4 key areas in your life. You've got your health and fitness, your business and career, your finance, your personal development, your relationships and romance, friends and family, fun and recreation, and spiritual. And spiritual doesn't have to be like religious, and it isn't necessarily in my case. So I was thinking about all these things, and the first one is health and fitness. So this is one that I've sort of not neglected, but hasn't really been a priority in my life. I went into Robin Arzon's masterclass, and I felt like her methods really spoke to me.
As long as you're stepping into your power, there's no age limit on that. And I think one of the crucial ways to do that is to hold the mirror up to our lives and ask ourselves, by what definition am I living? By whose nouns and whose adjectives am I operating?
When I was looking at what I want in 20 years, I was thinking, I want to be well. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get around. This belt has fit me since I was 12 years old, with the exception of when I was pregnant with my daughter. So it has not always fit me the best. It sometimes has been a little bit snug. It has sometimes been on the last loop and is sometimes a little bit tighter. But it has fit me since I was 12 years old, and I've had it since then. And I want it to fit me in 20 years. And if I want that, I'm going to have to take some changes now. Everything within my control. I want to be fit and I want to be healthy in 20 years. Well, if I want to be fit and healthy in 20 years, then in 10 years, I need to be fit and healthy. And if I want to be fit and healthy in 10 years, I need to be fit and healthy in 5 years. And if I want to be fit and healthy in 5 years, then I have to be in the best condition in my life at the end of this year, because I am not at my best. I am not. And so I just thought, what if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to think about this in the future, I need to think, what do I need to do now? Why I got an Audible subscription was so that I could walk and read at the same time, hitting both goals. And I'm out of breath because I'm out of shape. I want to get more physical, which for me, walking is a really enjoyable physical activity that I like and I'm likely to do. So in order to do that, I thought, you know what's great is I'm going to invest in Audible. I'm going to give myself the gift of Audible this year, and I'm going to listen to books while I write this, or while I walk. And this will help me hit two goals. One, I want to read more. Two, I want to be more fit and healthy. So I will walk and read with Audible. And the first book on my read list is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. She is the very first author I'll be writing like in 2023. So click that like and subscribe button. And if you're from the future, I'll pop the link up there. The other thing that Robin Arzon says is that you just start with one. So that's my one thing. I'm starting with that one thing. I'm going to walk and I'm going to read at the same time with the headphones. And maybe just a chapter, 20 minutes, something like that, just to get the juices going. This is going to help with my fitness. It's going to help with get me outside, which makes me happy. I'll try and walk where trees are because trees make me happy. And I'm going to try and have a more balanced, healthy life. Another thing I do, so I would say my suggestion to you is the very first thing you do, go through these 4, like I've done with fitness and health, go through these, 8 categories, and I'll pop them up here maybe. These 8 categories, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, and a year from now, where you want to be, and work your way backwards. If I'm going to be there in 20 years, where am I going to be in 10? Where am I going to be in 5 in order to have that? For example, when it comes to fun and recreation, this is another one that I never pay attention to. In 20 years, I want to find fun in all things. That seems completely impossible. So I thought, okay, in 10 years, how, if I find fun every day in 10 years, daily fun in my life. Okay. So that seems impossible as well for me. So 5 years, I want to have a little fun in my schedule. I want to schedule time for fun in 5 years. So if I'm going to do that in 5 years, what do I need to have achieved by the end of this year? I need to define fun. I need to know what fun is. And I went back, another thing that I got from that Robin Arzon masterclass was she said that fun and play are tools. And I love this because I love a good tool. I didn't just say that. She talks about the joy metric, and I love it. I'm going to pop her link and the link for Shonda's books in the links below, and also the link to get Crazy Fox because I love these journals. So normally I would put all this stuff in Patreon for you, but this time I'm going to link to the actual creators of these books rather than create a version of my own. I need to figure out what gives me joy. I need to actually use some, and I have a year to do it because it just seems so daunting. But I will sit down and I will do some actual deep work on myself. And one of the ways that I do deep work and tap into my subconscious when I am completely dumbfounded, and something I also like to do around this time of year, is vision boards. So I showed you in my last year's journal, there's a space in these crazy foxes clever foxes. I call them crazy foxes. But there's a space in these clever foxes for a purpose-driven vision board. So a purpose-driven vision board is something that you do to show yourself visually what you want from life. Or I do my vision board. And part of my vision board is always my word for the year. A word or a mantra that I come up for the year. Last year, as I said, was momentum. The year that I decided not to kill myself, it was happiness. And I'm still on the journey of defining joy, but I did manage to find happiness by redefining what success was in my life. I'm going to define what my joy, I'm going to find my fun and joy metric and my play metric. And I'm going to, so that next year, when I go into the year following, I can start using those tools and put them in my writer's toolbox, in my creator's toolbox, because they are tools that I have been neglecting for far too long. Before I do my purpose-driven vision board, I am going to do my subconscious vision board. Now, this was taught to me at a very low point in my life where I had lost everything. I was homeless, and I had nothing except some clothes and some books. And just by the grace and kindness of the people who love me, I never slept on the street, and I never was without food, but I lost everything. It was all taken from me, and I had absolutely nothing. Very little, if not no money to my name. I had no belongings really, save, as I said, a few books and some clothes and one or two pieces of furniture that weren't any good to sell. I ended up giving it away, and a couple plates, and that's it. I had nothing. It was all gone. I had a cat, and I even lost the litter. So yeah, I had to go buy new litter. And that was it. I had nothing. And I think now I've got this beautiful house, and I've got you here on YouTube. I have this job that I like. I have a business that I'm building. I have this beautiful family. I have this beautiful view of the world around me. And just thinking that just 12 years ago, I was homeless. And right at that time, I reached out. I had no friends, or thought I had no friends. And I reached out to this woman that I had only known for a few months, but I'd only met twice. And I said, I have no friends, and I have nothing, and I just need someone to talk to. And she bought me soup and made sure I ate it, and had me over for dinner and made sure I ate. And she taught me this practice, and I've done it ever since. So what you do is you grab 3. I have more than 3, so I'm gonna have to pick. Well, that's the same one, and that's just a food magazine. So you get 3 magazines that you don't read. I always get free ones. So I either go to like Goodwill and grab a free one, or I grab the free ones that they offer in my area. But they have to be ones you don't read, because you're not doing any reading. There's no reading here. No reading allowed. You are going to flip through this magazine, and you are going to look at it just briefly, at all the different pictures in it. And you want one with lots of pictures. I've accidentally chosen one that doesn't have a lot of pictures, but that's okay, because there's still ads even when there's not a lot of pictures. So no words allowed, only pictures. And just kind of take note, just as quickly as you can, go through, and you saw I paused there. Just go through and see if anything calls to you. This is basically a cookbook. So I've made a really bad choice here, but that's okay. Ooh. But it's funny, because even though there's not a lot of pictures, there are still pictures that are speaking to me. This was a vision board I did 5-6 months after I was suicidal, when my job was made redundant and I found myself out of work. I was looking for new ways of being. Because I was made redundant at my place of work, I changed jobs, I changed career paths, I redefined what success and happiness were. And by doing so, I remember driving along those same high cliffs, and instead of feeling like I would drive over the edge, I realized I was happy. I was really actually happy. And 5 years later, I am happy. I'm happy where I am in my life, but there's still more that I want. And time is of the essence. So I'm not just going to think about what I'm going to do next year or the year after. I'm going to think even 20 years into the future. Then came into the following year and had a lot of success, was made the Alumni Award recipient for the Iceland Writers Retreat. And I was very excited. Then COVID hit and it changed everything. So then you can see last year's vision board. I'm looking at turning a brown thing into something green. Now you're only allowed to pick 3 pictures. Go through it again and pick 3 pictures that spoke to you. So I know there were lots at the back, so I'm going to start from there. Now, one of the things I like about the free ones is they tend to be local. And what's nice about that is it tends to be things that kind of speak to you locally. Now I have to pick. And I think these are the 2 I'm going to have to pick between. Oh, it's hard. So hard. Just how peace I am with my life as it is, and how happy I am, and how far I've come in 5 years. And maybe my YouTube channel isn't as big as I want it to be. And if you want to help me make it bigger, hit the subscribe button. I'd love that. That'd just make my day. I notice every single time that number goes up. Every single one of you is valuable to me, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And hit the like button so other people can see this video as well. And hopefully it'll be helpful for them, because the truth is, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only survivor of depression and suicide. I'm not. And if I can inspire anybody else to know that there is a brand new day ahead and there is a way forward, and the darkness will pass with work, effort, and kindness and love to yourself, that just means the world to me. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I started this channel. That's why I began this journey in the first place. Because your story matters and it needs to be told. And you're the only one who can tell it. And if you aren't here to tell it, last one, then that's a loss to all of us. And while I'm cutting them out, I'm going to think about, where am I in this picture? Now, I don't want any words, so I'm going to cut this one out where words are. And in this picture, I'm the woman. I might not be the person. And I think in this picture, I'm the light on the 3 sisters. Which is a strange thing to say. The 3 sisters are these stone things. And in this one, I'm the woman. Maybe I'm the waterfall. I think I'm the woman. No words allowed. I'm the person in this picture. I don't even know if these people are women. I'm just saying they're women because I'm a woman and I very strongly identify as a woman. This one, I think I'm in this space, in this green space, which is interesting because last year, my vision board from last year had this momentum of going from brown to green. And so I think what I am on this journey that I am on, I feel that green is the color, which is interesting because I remember when I first did this that yellow was a very strong color in my vision board, and green seems to be very strong. This one, I think I'm the kite. I think I'm the kite in this one. I'm getting a lot of height in this. She's looking up. Height, 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 height. But I'm not sure where the height is in this. Are the trees? Well, I think that's more about the color. This one, I'm the woman having a coffee in the cafe. Actually, this cafe kind of reminds me a little bit of a cafe here in town. I don't always have a lot of people in my pictures. This one, I think I'm the people. But there's something about the cityscape. This one has the cityscape as well. So that's interesting. I don't think I've ever had a very strong cityscape. Or maybe I'm the water. Now I'm going to try and tell a story with my pictures. So I've kind of decided what they mean to me. And I'm going to tell a story with them and arrange them in a way that tells a story. And every step of this gives me a little more insight to what I'm actually trying to achieve. I feel like this is the center. And this needs to be up high. And we're heading away from the mountains, the country, to the water and the city and the cafe. We're heading back to people. Well, I don't know why we're heading back to people. I don't know what that is. A song that's been speaking to me at the end of this year. There's a lot of songs that speak to me a lot, but one song is by Imagine Dragons called Polaroid. Mostly there's a line from the song which says, "I am the color of boom." And I think I found the word that I want for this year in that song. I think boom, mantra, I'm the color of boom, is what I want. This one has a fence, so I guess we're a little safer here. It's just something extraordinary about the spring in Australia if you have hay fever tablets. And I guess that's a great metaphor for life, really. You can pretty much endure anything if you, well, have the pill for that. Seriously though, what changed my life was realizing that I didn't have to live to other people's standards or other people's expectations. I know it sounds cliche, but I redefined happiness and success for myself. In Masterclass, Robin outlines this exercise in telling yourself a short story about yourself in the third person in order to gather strength. So if this were me, I might tell the story of how 5 years ago, golly, 5 years ago now, I guess, 4 and a bit, I was suicidal, and we live in this beautiful region of New South Wales, and there's lots of cliffs, and I would drive home from work thinking about dropping off the cliff. And what stopped me from doing it was I came to the conclusion that being the horrible person that I am and being a terrible mother would be better, preferable in my daughter's life than dealing with the fact that her mother had killed herself. She was only 3 at the time, and I realized that that wasn't the best gift to give her. And for her, and I don't usually make choices because I'm a bad mom, and that's a story I'm telling myself, which I need to stop. So I think to represent this normally I kind of try and fill the page in some way. I've got momentum there. And I've used pencil crayons and markers and all sorts of things and stickers. This time I think I'm going to go back to these magazines, and I am just going to illustrate this idea of the color of boom. One thing I love that Robin says is that you apply the 80-20 rule to your life. And I love this idea. So she will eat healthy, eat the good stuff 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time have the bad stuff. And I am definitely down for that. It's funny how when you make a decision to do something, or when I make a decision to do something, suddenly I see it everywhere. I was watching Elaine Walter-Roth's masterclass. She's the author of More Than Enough, former editor of Teen Vogue magazine. And she references Priya Parker, author of The Art of Gathering, which I have not read but might put on my to-read list this year. And they both advocate this idea of making an appointment with joy. For somebody who loves a schedule and loves a day planner, this seemed like the exact way that I'm going to figure out what happiness is this year. I'm going to commit to making an appointment with joy every week. I have, okay, here goes. I'm going to say 3 hours a week. I'm going to make an appointment with joy. It doesn't have to be one appointment. It could be 3 appointments, 3 of 1 hour, or 6 half-hour, or 1 3-hour. But every week I'm going to find 3 hours to show up, get dressed, and go and meet joy. I'm not going to cancel last minute. I'm not going to not show up on time. I'm going to treat it like any other appointment. And if I do that every week, 3 hours a week for this year, by the end of this year, I should have some kind of idea what joy is, shouldn't I? After spending 3 hours with her. Something really thrills me about this chair. The Explorer's Wishing Chair. When things were rough, I had learned about the Japanese art or habit or tradition, whatever the word is, for tree bathing. And I started bushwalking, and it was the only thing that gave me peace until I got close to the edge. But this chair, I came with my little girl, and we sat in it, and we made wishes. 5 years on, I feel like those wishes have come true. And so I sit here now and I make wishes for my future. Once you have an idea of what you're doing way down the road, work your way backwards. So set up yearly goals. What do I want to accomplish by next year? By next year, I want to lose 4 kilos. That will bring me into... Did you just hang up on me?
No,
What's
it
that?
was just a message.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I want to lose 4 kilos, which will bring me into my ideal weight. More would be great, but that's the goal. 4 kilos would bring me down into my ideal weight. And I want to be able to walk without getting winded like I did in that little clip. And I want to be able to define fun. I want to have a definition of that. So those are my measurable goals by the end of this year. So then I'm going to break it down into the first 3 months. So break it down by the quarter. What are my first steps going to be? Well, my first steps were to get Audible and start listening to books while I walk and commit to walking every day for 2 or 3 chapters. And, or at least 15 minutes. And in order to define fun, I am going to start making appointments with joy. And I'm going to meet with joy 3 hours a week. That's the commitment. So that's where I'm going to start. And we'll check back in 3 months and see what next steps I need to take. And that is how you achieve your goals in 20 years. You keep breaking it down until what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? So the next step is put joy in my calendar. I make wishes for myself, of course, but mostly I'm wishing for you right now. Wishing you all the best with your writing journey. And if you're stuck at all, check out this video here. Wish you the best. From the Explorer Chair in New South Wales. What are you grateful for? Well, I know one thing I'm grateful for. This view.